Take a while. Okay, it should work now.
Oh, here. Sorry. It's exactly 8.
Okay, hopefully everything works.
Sorry.
Awesome. Okay. All right.
Next time you should tell me when we're starting.
It's all right.
Okay.
So we're slowly gonna wait for people to come in, but I think we're live right now. And hopefully this time there won't be any disconnects in between.
Yeah.
Some water, relax. I'm just gonna wait for some of you to come in so you can post some questions you have. So how are you feeling?
Nervous. As usual.
There's no need to be nervous.
Yeah.
Hey.
So we have one
Hi,
person.
Spike. Hi from Wales. Nice. Awesome. That's definitely a place we have to visit.
Alright.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait, it doesn't show me the info. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to start off by, oh, hi. Hello from Kentucky. Hi, Stephanie.
From London. Oh, wow.
Oh, nice. From London. Hi, Tick. Awesome. So cool. It's always nice to see how international the keto community is on the channel.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we live in Austria, but like 0.1% of our viewers are actually from Austria. And yeah. And most of you are from America, then UK, Canada, Australia. So yeah. Howdy. Dallas, nice. Hi, Teresa. Good to see you here. Hey, Ozzy. How high are your ketones always? So we don't test that often, but when we test, so usually you aim for around 2 millimolars or something like this. Hey, Dylan and Kenna. Oh, and Central California, nice.
You were in the search result.
His is a lotus pose, I don't know. So, I'm sorry, this is the wrong live stream. Hi, Wake Forest.
Audio is very low.
Okay, I'm gonna try to talk a little bit more loudly. More louder then. Okay. Put a little closer maybe. Good. Alright, so we're just gonna start by mentioning Anyway, we just recently recorded the sake cup, so the Hungarian recipe that we were talking about, which is based on an old traditional recipe from your grandma.
My grandma,
yeah. And we're gonna post that probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be up by tomorrow because many of you have been asking for that. So yeah. And another thing, we recently, until some questions come in, a couple of weeks ago, we did a caffeine experiment. A no caffeine experiment, and that was pretty intense.
Very intense, yes.
Really didn't expect it to hit me that hard, actually. So we went from like 2 to 3 coffees a day to 0 for a couple of days.
For 1 week, actually.
Yeah, for 1 week.
But the challenge was supposed to be for a whole month.
Yeah.
But we didn't manage because it was just, I had really bad headaches. I couldn't do anything for a whole weekend.
Plus, I don't know.
I decided against it.
Probably too addicted or something, but I was kind of missing the taste and flavor, and I was thinking,
although
is it worth it right now?
We were drinking decaf, so we still had the taste.
Yeah, that's true. We were drinking decaf. But anyway, so the first day we're feeling okay, we're just feeling a little tired, and then was the second or the third day was the worst?
For me, it was the third.
Oh, I think for me it was the second one. Yeah, I did it 1 day later, and the second day for me was horrible.
Do you guys have any questions, by the way?
And anyway, and then second day was horrible for me, and the third one was horrible for you. Yeah. And just headache and really tired, and I felt sick, which was crazy. I haven't felt sick in years now since we started keto. And yeah, I never expected it to hit me that hard. And but yeah, then we stopped after a couple of days because we missed coffee, and we don't overdo it, so we try to drink 1 or 2 a day and then switch to decaf later, so it's not a problem. And we're gonna experiment some more when we have some more time off. So
yeah, definitely.
For sure. All right. No, we don't watch Simlands. No, don't know him.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna check it out right now.
All right. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions related to keto or anything else, minimalism, anything you're interested in, please post them down below. If you want to know the temperature in Austria, anything, just go for it. Hello from Pennsylvania. Nice. Hi to see you. Nice to see you here, Paula. Okay. So ketones do drop when exercising. That's totally natural, especially right after you exercise, but that's normal. They're gonna go up again after a while. So usually probably, I'd say like an hour afterwards or something, you're gonna see them go up again. That's completely natural. And yeah, so don't worry about that. And actually, they're gonna be even higher than before. So expect that, since also, let's say if you weren't in ketosis before and you do some heavy lifting, some exercise, and you empty your glycogen stores, that's also going to help you get into ketosis and have higher ketone readings. Teresa is asking, is coffee not allowed when eating keto? No, coffee is allowed.
Yeah, it was our
it was just an experiment. We like to do experiments every once in a while, just to.
And it's like we don't like to be addicted to anything, and coffee is one thing that we do quite often because we just really enjoy the taste and the whole habit around having coffee in the morning, and we just wanted to see how we feel if we reduce that or completely eliminate.
You're talking like we're addicts or something, but
I am.
But yeah, I mean, we do really enjoy coffee. Enjoy the smell. Enjoy grinding fresh coffee beans in the morning, and freshly brewed coffee with the French press. So it's, for me, it's like a little meditative thing I like to do in the morning. So I make my coffee and I really look forward to it. Actually, one thing that we do try sometimes is not to have a coffee right after getting up. Just leave a little bit of time in between.
Yeah.
And maybe start with some tea and then have a coffee maybe 1 hour later. And since it can have an impact on your hormone levels, cortisol levels as well. Yeah. So yeah. But you can definitely drink coffee on keto, don't worry. Many people do keto and drink coffee and really enjoy it. And keto coffee and bulletproof coffee is a thing that if you like that, you can. It's a good thing. So it's not a problem unless you're trying to lose weight and those are a ton of calories that you're taking in all the time without noticing. Then you should probably reduce it. Okay, Spy21 is asking, do you think resistance training or cardio is better? I think resistance training is better, but it depends what your goal is. If you really love running, then do cardio, go for a run. But if you like running, then you can also sprint, which will be more beneficial as far as fat burning is concerned. And resistance training, if your goal is to lose weight or to build muscle, etc., it's definitely better. And actually, there's no need to do cardio if you're trying to lose weight. You can do that much more effectively and long term if you're doing resistance training. And there's some really nice studies about that as well. Okay. Hey, Brian. So Brian's saying, just wanted to say thanks for taking the time to post all of your videos. Great information. I'm very happy to hear that.
Oh, gosh.
One of Jofi's friends is here as well, Kathy. Hey, good to see you here.
All right.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, Brian, you're very welcome. Thank you for that.
Right.
So Brian Vicito is asking, is it true that there are alcohol drinks allowed on keto? If so, what do you suggest?
For some people, yes. So,
well, not only for, so there's some nice lists that you can check out, where you can see how many net carbs which drink has, and generally,
like spirits such as
vodka, some tequila or something like this. They're lower in carbs, but you shouldn't forget, only because that means, okay, they don't have carbs, etc. Your body still prioritizes getting rid of alcohol if you drink something, and so it stops any other process. So you're not gonna be feeling super energized and great and keep burning fat when you're drinking alcohol at the same time. You can have some, and also some dry wines. Have a little bit less dry white wine. Is okay-ish as far as carbs are concerned, a small quantity. But yeah, you can include some alcohol. Just you should expect to crash harder than you have before when you weren't doing keto after drinking alcohol, because your body is not used to that. It's gonna get into your bloodstream much faster. Okay. Decrease. I've been doing keto for 2 months successfully, 10 kilograms down, ketones 2+, but last 2 weeks ketones have dropped to under 1. So are you measuring always at the same time? Did you change anything? I would check, make sure you're counting the carbs you're eating throughout the whole day and that you're under 20 grams of net carbs. So really count every single thing. And then try again. Is there anything else that you've changed? Okay. Yeah, Spy21 says, I drink whiskey all the time and it doesn't seem to stop my progress. All right, sure, if that works for you, it's awesome. That's great, especially if you enjoy it. As long as you track and you see how you do and you feel great and you're seeing the progress that you're looking for, or you're satisfied with the weight and the way you feel, and then, yeah, go for it. Ozzy is asking, are you doing intermittent fasting? I'm doing 1 meal a day, and how high should your calories be if you want weight loss? Thanks for your work, keep going. So this is a very individual question. Intermittent fasting, you're doing more of that than me right now?
Yeah, because we have different goals. So I'm still aiming for weight loss, and I just enjoy not having breakfast overall. So that's why I'm doing that. And Angel's trying to gain more weight, more muscle. So he's trying to eat even more.
This is actually a new goal of mine the past couple of weeks. I sometimes do intermittent fasting, and it's great that it's a tool that I can go back to whenever I want. But the way now it's a shorter time frame. So maybe if you have an early dinner or something, and then I have breakfast maybe at 10 or something like this, that's gonna be my little fast in between.
Yeah.
Which is not very long, but for me, my goal is to gain some weight and to build more muscle. And right now, if I just have 2 meals, it's hard for me to reach a certain amount of calories. And so that's why I try to eat breakfast more regularly. And it's still like, it was my habit to do intermittent fasting pretty much every day. And so it's still something that I have to remind myself of. But we eat great food, so I'm always looking forward to it. Sometimes I just have whatever we had for dinner the evening before or something after the next morning, and I actually don't mind at all.
And I also enjoy like longer fasts. For example, this year I want to do like a 3-day fast. And maybe if you're interested, I can also post a video on that, like on my experience. But I have no idea how it's gonna be.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
It's gonna be something.
Maybe I'll join you. Okay, and by the way, we were asking, you're doing 1 meal a day. How should your calories be if you want weight loss? That's very individual. So,
1 meal a day is really hard to reach.
Well, if you're doing 1 meal a day and it's working, that's awesome. If you want weight loss, especially if that means you're doing a long fasting period every day, check some keto calculators, type in your weight and see what your... I actually I did a video about the optimal protein intake. So you can use that to calculate your lean body mass and try to hit your protein goal, and then add fat to satiety and check some keto microcalculators and see what they suggest approximately. And then, yeah, they usually tend to recommend a little higher protein than we recommended in the previous video about protein. But just to have an idea, because I can't tell you exactly right now. I don't have all the info. Okay.
Veganism and keto.
What do you think about veganism and keto? Can I do both together and be healthy? So veganism and keto is very hard without supplements. So if you do keto with beta hydroxybutyrate salts, with ketone salts, with a lot of MCT oil, coconut oil, there are some ways around it. Whenever you're fasting, especially for a longer time, then you're in ketosis, so you're sort of doing keto. You're not eating keto foods, but fasting. So you could combine periods of fasting and eating. So that would be way around it. But if you can't keep your carbs very low, it's gonna be harder. But there are actually I think there's some websites popping up about vegan keto, and you could check that out. It's not gonna be quite as easy as vegetarian keto, where you can include eggs and potentially fish if you're eating that. But it's possible, just don't expect it to be easy. But if you're doing veganism, you're already used to cooking more and preparing more different varieties of foods to cover all the nutrients, so you might be able to do it. Okay, decrease. Same here, I'm under 20. Same time, I'm under 20. So what do you mean exactly? What is the question? Been on keto for 2 months. Oh, okay, that's 2 weeks. Okay. Same time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Under 20. Interest. Oh, I don't know. Try something different. Maybe you're eating something that's kicking out, or maybe you're eating enormous amounts of protein, which I don't think you are, but that could potentially be something that's lowering your ketone levels. Make sure, just check the previous video on protein, on how much protein you should eat, and see in what range you are. Maybe it's too much for you. Some people are more sensitive to protein, especially if you have some insulin resistance potentially. Okay, decrease. As you get more adapted, your ketone levels will drop, as you will be more efficient at burning them. That's also true. With time, your ketone levels do drop after you've been doing keto for a longer time. And also, like, don't chase ketones all the time. They're not the holy grail. The best thing to do is to notice how you're feeling. Are you energized? Are you feeling good? Are you healthy? Are you really hungry, snacky the whole day? Then you're doing something wrong. And after a while, you don't have to test all the time. Also, ketone test strips are quite expensive, especially if you're doing blood tests, which is the only reliable way to do ketone tests. Okay, Delane and Kenna, how do I avoid the low blood sugar feeling, anxious and shaky? I want to cut out sugar and this is keeping me from it. Well, if you're just starting out...
So I use salt. I always had trouble with low blood sugar levels, and I was feeling very lightheaded, for example. And since I implemented using salt whenever I feel a little bit lightheaded, that helps me a lot. And I don't, because before I always carried with some candy with me to kind of get me back and just feel like, okay, I'm not gonna faint right now. And I replaced those candies with salt, and it actually works. So I would try that out.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're just starting out on keto, then it's normal that you're addicted to sugar in a way, and it takes some while to get off. It's like it has similar, so our brain reacts to it similarly, like to heroin or cocaine or some drugs. So expect some crash, expect some hard times when you take it out completely. Just make sure that you're getting enough, that you're eating enough alternative keto foods, and just implement some small routines when you feel that. Just maybe, I don't know, have some bone broth, or yeah, just I would say
just try to like lower sugar. I don't know if you're using normal sugar or what you're doing exactly, but you could just try to add less sugar to foods like desserts, and just try to like step by step reduce it.
And plus just replace it with some keto sweeteners like stevia, erythritol, something like that, if you're craving for that sweetness. That's probably the best way. And just make sure you're eliminating, you're lowering your carbs to under 20 grams of net carbs, 25 grams of net carbs for a longer duration of time, so you completely get rid of those. You don't feel low energy and then you eat carbs again, and then you're always keeping yourself out of ketosis. You're never actually giving your body the time to adapt. Okay, Decrease, how do I get ketones back up if I'm more adapted? Well, you could do MCT oil, or you could do ketone esters or ketone salts, but that's like, why? It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can also do longer fasts, and you're also gonna have higher ketone levels, but it doesn't really matter. If your goal is weight loss, you don't have to have really high ketone levels. As long as they're over a certain level, then you're in ketosis. But even if you're in ketosis and you're eating a ton of fat, a ton of food, like way over your calorie requirements, then you're still not gonna lose weight. In the beginning, many people do lose weight also in the beginning, even though they might eat more calories, or if they have a faster metabolism which reacts differently. But after a while, when you get adapted, your body gets better at burning, at utilizing fat and digesting fat, etc. So not so much of it gets wasted anymore, then you need to slowly make sure that you're not doing excessive amounts, and also keep the calories in mind. Your hormone levels are going to be better than on a high carb diet, and so like the same amount of calories will lead to better results on keto if your goal is weight loss, but at least most of the time. But yeah, so definitely. Okay. Decrease. Hi from Manila, Philippines. Please advise regarding cravings for sweets on keto. Thank you both for making time to share keto with us. You're very welcome. Nice to see someone from Philippines. Well, cravings for sweets. Okay, we're gonna keep that in mind for a future video then, because it seems like more people are struggling with this, especially around the holidays, which is normal, I think. I'm guessing you ate a lot of sweets recently, and it's hard to stop. And I totally understand. Like when we have a couple of days where when we try some new desserts, and even though we don't add sugar, we add some sweetener, we still, the next day comes around, next meal, we think, okay, it would be nice to have another dessert, because you get used to it. You get used to that. You get that sweet tooth back. We don't crave sugar per se, but just having that sweet taste in our mouth. Cravings for sweets just...
For me, eating more protein actually helped, because I felt more full from our meals, and then even though at the beginning maybe I craved for more desserts, but I just didn't have any space in my stomach anymore to eat, and that's something that can help. Or have some, I don't know, try to have some like salty keto snacks at the beginning, and just get used to eating salty instead of sweet.
Yeah, have some other alternatives ready when those cravings come.
But I want to do some more experiments this year also with like avoiding keto desserts completely, and then we can let you know what we found useful.
Okay. Weight and ketones are not showing, measures are dropping, very true. Yeah. Awesome. That's very good to hear.
Yes, I have to carry candy and feel lightheaded. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you used to carry, what was it, dextrose or something like this before we started keto. That was...
And like, for example, my older sister still does the same, because she's not doing keto, and she always has some gummy bears or candy with her, because that's how she avoids fainting. So I can definitely relate. Try out salt, it helps.
Yeah. It's actually also really cool before the gym, just having a little bit of pink Himalayan salt or sea salt before with some water. It's really awesome. We had that today again before going to the gym. And also if you go for an early workout, you don't even need a coffee or anything. We had some water with some salt, which is awesome. It's so simple and never had any problems. Yeah. Feel really energized, so that's awesome. Okay, decrease. So Spy is saying, decrease, the look and results on your body and health are more important than the numbers. Yes. That's very true. Don't chase numbers.
Just chase results.
Chase results, see how you feel, and keep measuring yourself. And as you said, decrease, your measures are dropping, so that's awesome.
Patty,
congrats on that.
That was my case.
Yeah.
What was your case, Patty?
So Peter's asking it. Yeah. Had the same. But you're not doing keto right now, as far as we know, right, Peter? Decrease. So, okay. Hisam Aziz, hello from Cairo. Just started trying keto a couple of weeks ago. Already quit metformin, and my glucose level is always below 115, even after meals. Your opinion on net and total carbs? So we just count net carbs, because we started adding total carbs to some recipes now, because more people have asking about it. But if you, most of the time you're good if you just count net carbs and you stay under 20 grams of net carbs. If you're eating a huge amount of fiber, it might be an issue, but usually you don't have to add fiber. Here in Austria, actually, the nutritional value on the packages, they only show you the net carbs. So they say carbohydrates, and that's already just the net carbs, and then they have a separate line where they say the fiber content. And so for the recipes, then I add them up.
Calculate, yeah.
just when I mentioned the total carbs as well. But for most people, just counting net carbs is good. And if you stay below 20 to 25, but if you want to play it safe, 20 grams of net carbs, you should be good. Don't overcomplicate it, and just adapt and see. If you're still not seeing the results you want, then okay, see how are your total carbs, and yeah, try that as well. Okay, so Paula is asking, what are your thoughts on nuts? I wonder if that is driving my calories up. Yeah, nuts are super easy to overeat, so that could very likely be something that's driving your calories up. Just count how much you're eating, how much of them you're eating. It's very hard to stop eating nuts, and that's also why. So for me, it's a good way to add some calories now, but it's not a good thing. Like if my goal was weight loss.
So when Angelo makes some almond butter, that's not helping me, for example.
Yeah, almond butter is even more dangerous than just almonds or other nuts. And also make sure that if you want to eat some nuts, just make sure see how many calories you're actually taking. Just take a handful or measure them, see how much are you actually eating now. Don't take the package and just start snacking on them, because you're never gonna know. And then the funny thing is, when you eat nuts or also desserts that have a lot of nuts in them, especially if it's sweetened, you just eat a ton. You like, sometimes it happened to us. We tried a new recipe, we baked a ton of it, and then we're like, okay, let's have another. Let's have some more. And you don't realize until like 10 minutes, 15 minutes after eating that you're so full. When you're eating it especially when they're sweet, it feels like you never have to stop. Like you're never really getting full until a while after, and then you notice, okay, you're not full for the rest of the you're not hungry at all for the rest of the day, and you can skip dinner or something. But in the moment, it's very, very dangerous.
But if you're struggling with cravings, then just try to avoid nuts altogether and just focus on vegetables and meat.
And they can also be a hidden source of carbohydrates, especially if you're eating bigger quantities. So pay attention with that as well. So Dan is asking, what about coconut yogurt? Just check the carb content. It depends. Unsweetened coconut yogurt, we bought one a couple months ago.
Yeah, once. But this
I think it was still a little higher.
Yeah, it was definitely
still like
higher
3 grams
in carbs,
of net carbs
and it was
or something.
Just unnecessary. So it was like
It wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
But just check it, maybe in small quantities, and maybe you can even mix it with some coconut milk or something else. I mean, you could try, or almond milk or something. Just check the carb content whenever you're not sure. Okay, what is Bovril again?
I have no
Sorry
idea.
about the question. So Spive, can you define Bovril drink?
I'm Googling it right now.
And okay, Anita is asking, what fruit is the best for smoothies? Well, avocados are technically a fruit, coconuts, lemons. I would, if you want to make smoothies, make it vegetable based. So use spinach, kale, cucumbers. Use some lime, lemon. You can include some avocado if it fits. But you're probably better off adding some lemon and a tiny bit of stevia or erythritol to sweeten it, if that's what you want. Then if you're gonna squeeze in 2 oranges or apples or something, or mix in apples or something that's higher in carbohydrates. So I don't have a perfect answer for you, but just make it vegetable based. That's gonna be better. Okay, Peter is saying, I cheated too often and kept myself out of keto. Yes.
We know.
Peter. We know. You told us. You
finished.
You
keto.
Finished keto. We thought you beat the system, but you just quit.
Alright. Yeah.
Okay.
It's alright.
Yeah, Spive, you're right. Anita, you should not have fruit on keto except very small amount of berries. Yeah. Berries can be fine in smaller amounts. Yeah, especially raspberries, strawberries, blueberries a little bit higher, but some blueberries.
Yeah, we usually eat raspberries.
That's also actually, if you want a keto dessert that's very easy and simple, have some frozen raspberries at home, or fresh raspberries are fine as well, but we have some frozen at home. We actually haven't had that for a while. And that's great for ice cream as well. We also did an ice cream recipe where we showed that. If you have some frozen raspberries at home, you can just take out a portion like 50 grams or something, which is approximately, I think, 2 grams of net carbs, or no, maybe 3 grams of net carbs. So if that fits into your daily carb limit, you can have some frozen berries. And I like to sometimes add a little bit of MCT oil on top, just because it helps it just defreeze slightly. And if you want it a little bit sweeter, or if you have some other berries that are a little more sour, you can add a little bit of stevia or erythritol on it as well. So that's a really fast, easy dessert, especially if you're craving some fruits or something sweet. Okay, read Yema. My lipids LDL has gone very high since keto, 7 months now on keto, and I love the way I feel. My triglycerides are very good at 56. Should I worry? So, first of all, we're not doctors, so we can't give you perfect medical advice. But generally speaking, low triglycerides are a really great sign. And that's also what most people see when they start keto, which is awesome. And if you do some more research and also talk to your doctor, but if you do some more research, you're going to find that like a high LDL doesn't necessarily mean that you're for higher risk of heart problems or stroke or anything like that. And it's much more important actually that you have high HDL and that your triglycerides are low. That's a much better indicator of your health. And also with LDL, there are small particles and large fluffy LDL particles, and sadly not many do this test to see how many of which they have. And if you have mostly smaller ones, that's more dangerous. And if you have mostly larger fluffy ones, that's better. And it's actually quite interesting then when you do some more research and you check around that, like, there are studies showing that actually you have a lower risk of dying from a heart attack if you have higher cholesterol numbers than if you have low cholesterol numbers. And that, like, generally that many people live longer lives with higher cholesterol levels compared to lower ones. So, like, don't worry about it too much, but just check in with your doctor, do some tests, and maybe you can do that LDL test as well to see how many large and smaller particles you have. I can't tell you exactly now how the test is called, but I'm sure you're gonna find it quickly. Okay, so Asuncion, is it alright to have whey protein like after a workout?
So we used to do that, but not anymore. Also because or at least what we had was higher in carbs as well. I checked.
So if like you're in a pinch and you don't have time to prepare something after working out, maybe you didn't have any food yet that day, it can help out. But don't be surprised if it keeps you out of ketosis a little bit longer than if you're just gonna have a normal meal after working out, because it can be very insulinogenic. Whey protein is very concentrated protein that, and the amino acid balance is gonna, like, it raises your insulin a little bit faster, which some bodybuilders want, but you can have some, and you can try some. Just try to have a normal meal if possible afterwards. But if you don't have an alternative and you don't have another way to get some protein in the next couple of hours, then a whey protein shake is doable. Just if you feel that you're crashing afterwards and you're more tired, then you know, okay, it might not have been the best idea. And if you mix it with something else, or maybe you have an avocado as well on the side, maybe you're gonna feel a bit better. It's not gonna have as much of a an crashing impact on you. Yeah. All right, Paula, you're very welcome, Paula. So Susan is saying also told not to eat fruit on keto, especially with insulin resistance. Yes. Yeah, like there are some keto fruits that you can include in small quantities, but some people are more sensitive than others. So if you know that you can't eat fruit, any kind of fruit, then that's good. I mean, you probably can eat avocados or have a little bit of lemon juice or something like this, but everybody's different, and that's also the thing. Like we're all individuals, and I can tell you what works for most people, and then maybe you're a tiny bit different. So you have to experiment, and that's also something that is really exciting, at least for myself and for the two of us. We love trying and challenging ourselves. We love trying new things, and that's also why we tried not to have coffee for a week. And that went horribly wrong. But we're gonna try again.
Yeah.
And until then, we enjoy our coffee. It's fine. We feel great, so we don't need to do that. But yeah, that's also why we stopped. Because we felt, okay, we don't have to do this right now, and there's a lot of other things we had to think of at that moment. So we thought, okay, it's not worth the hassle right now. Okay. Hisam Aziz, I read somewhere that adding sweetener to flax meal bread makes it turn into sugars. Any validity to that? And is flax something good to consume on keto? So flax seeds are low carb. So they're very low carb, higher in fiber. You can definitely include some flax seed in keto. I have no idea, like adding sweetener to flax meal bread turning into sugars. I have never heard it before. I don't think so, but maybe if you add a special sweetener to magic, I don't know. I don't think so. But maybe it has a similar reaction like baking soda and apple cider vinegar.
I don't think so.
Beautiful. But you can definitely have flax seeds on keto, like in reasonable quantities. But like, yeah, sure. We also use it now when we do our keto pizza.
Keto bread or keto pizza.
Keto bread. Yeah, when we do keto pizza now, we started including some flaxseed as well. So we don't just do almond flour and coconut flour, but we do a little less almond flour, some flaxseed flour, almond flour, and coconut flour. And yeah, we like it. It's good. It's really good. And we feel good afterwards. So. Moonflower is asking, do you eat vegetables? I can do under 25 carbs when I eat veggies. I usually eat around 40 to 50 grams of carbs. So are you counting total carbs or net carbs? So if you subtract the fiber from the total carbs, are you still not able to stay under 25 grams of net carbs? Because most people just need to count net carbs. That should be enough.
And we do eat vegetables all the time.
Yeah.
We just,
of course. Yeah, we eat vegetables with every meal. So
we just also pay attention not to overeat on vegetables.
Yeah. Like you can overdo it on vegetables as well. Like if you just have a very small quantity of meat or you're not adding much fat or anything, it's easy to overeat vegetables or to over snack on vegetables. You think, okay, you've always been told, oh, vegetables are so healthy and good for you, and in a way they are great for you, but you can overdo it easily because you can eat a big quantity, they don't feel it that much, and so just count how much you're eating. Like at some point you're gonna know, okay, approximately this is this much, but especially in the beginning, if you're not sure, weigh your food, and whenever you're not sure how many carbs the vegetable has, and if it's keto friendly, then just Google nutritional value, the food that you want to eat, and then you should have it right away. Yes, you're very welcome. Very happy to do this, Decres. C. Asuncion is asking, how do you make your bulletproof coffee? Is it alright to have it every day? So we don't make it that often right now.
Yeah.
It is a great way to add some calories for me, but I actually prefer having a real meal in the morning if I have the time for it. But so I also did this more often at work, that I made a bulletproof coffee there because it was just, I didn't bring anything, and so I just made coffee, added some butter and coconut oil.
It's really nice when you're on the go and you don't have time to prepare any meal, just to have something to.
If you have to rush out and you don't have any time to prepare something, you want to get yourself through the day, then bulletproof coffee can be very helpful. And also when you're starting out, if it's something that motivates you, for us it was that way when we started out. We actually found out, in the beginning we found out about bulletproof diet, we read the bulletproof diet, then we got interested and we're like, okay, but what is this thing about ketosis? Then we got more interested in just keto, and we removed those, like these little carb ups that they had there, and we felt much better because we always thought, okay, now we worked out, we needed some little carb up, let's eat a sweet potato, and then afterwards we were crashing and didn't feel that good the next day, and then we just started doing keto, and haven't looked back ever since. But like it depends on your quantity that you have, and your quantity of fat that you add as well to your bulletproof coffee, and what your goal is. Like, are you moving closer to your goal? Then yeah, sure, go for it, continue. If your weight loss is stalling at a certain point, then try reducing your bulletproof coffee, maybe even replacing it with a small meal with some protein, or maybe add a little bit of protein even to your bulletproof coffee, add some collagen or something like this. See how you do, and reduce the fat in it. Blackberries are very low glycemic index. Yeah, but you don't. Yes, they have a very low glycemic index, but they're a little bit higher in carbs than raspberries and strawberries. But yeah, you can have them in small quantities. Just keep in mind, just check how much you're getting and if it still fits into your daily macros. Oh, so Susan, wait a second, did we miss something? But not eat fruit. So you also can't eat strawberries.
No, and surprisingly, strawberries also.
Okay, yeah, they have a very low glycemic. I know they look like they're so sweet and so evil in a way, but you can have strawberries in moderate quantities as well on keto. Especially if you feed them to your boyfriend or husband or somebody else. Yeah.
So,
Nicolette
Tóth, Hungarian. Szia Zsófi. Hello Angelo. Love your content, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are our first Hungarian viewer, so we're super happy.
Well, Patty also joined.
Oh yeah.
Peter also joined before, so he's also Hungarian.
Sorry, Patty.
Sorry, second place is still awesome.
Yeah, but I knew him already, so it's different.
And he's asking, would you recommend for a tall carboholic just contemplating the ketogenic diet to go cold turkey right away, or just slowly cutting down on it day by day a little more? So here's the thing. I think cold turkey is the best approach, because if you leave a little bit of carbs in and just slowly go, you're not switching over your metabolism to using fat for energy, and you're always going to be in that in-between zone where your body doesn't know, okay, what should I use? I have a little bit of carbs, and then you maybe feel less energy. I would go cold turkey. If you can, definitely do cold turkey. Some people do well also on like a paleo, low-carb diet, but if you're aiming for ketosis, then cold turkey, I think, is the best approach. You have to just jump into the cold water and just remove the carbohydrates. Have veggies instead. Just replace the rice, the noodles, the pasta, whatever you had before, with some keto options, some vegetables, and then it's all a habit thing, I think. And then you could also start out with still a bit of bulletproof coffee or something if it gets you started, if that motivates you.
But however, like at the beginning, I actually started with paleo, not with keto. And first I only reduced like bread, pasta, and all like foods that had gluten in it.
How long was that ago?
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. So in Hungary,
my mom.
Paleo is really popular.
Yeah, they have a lot of paleo products, even.
Here we have more vegans, but
yeah,
it's fine. Everybody their own.
But for me, that helped. That like first I reduced gluten, and I was already losing weight, even though I didn't lower my carbs that much. And after that, it was easier to kind of reduce rice and all these other things as well. So it also depends on how you can manage yourself, like what's easier for you. But the cold turkey approach is definitely the best.
Definitely the best, because you want to get yourself to adapt to a ketogenic diet. Then you're gonna feel like the best. Then you have to. You might have the keto flu if if you don't keep your electrolytes up and replenished. So if you don't take some sea salt, if you don't take enough sodium through sea salt, or by salting your food enough, maybe you might need some magnesium, some extra magnesium, potassium. You can also eat some avocados. In the beginning, if you're feeling a little bit, whenever you're crashing or not feeling that great, make sure you get your electrolytes replenished, as your body loses a lot of water weight when you're starting out on keto, and it stores a lot of the electrolytes with the water as well. So you need to keep those replenished, and as you go, as you do keto for a longer time, your body gets better actually at keeping the right amounts as well. Again, at least that's what I've noticed, that I'm less dependent on replenishing electrolytes, and I think it's the same for you as well. Like it's not like before when we started out, and then we would maybe wake up in the middle of the night and have a leg cramp or something like this if we didn't have any magnesium that day.
I still have it sometimes from magnesium as well.
Everybody's different, but at least I've noticed that it happened much more rarely to me.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, especially during the day or something, there was never anything. Still tend to take magnesium most evenings, but potassium is something that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Ozzy, a secret tip from the Try Cognac products. They are available in form of rice, lasagna, and even noodles. The best thing about it is that they only made out of fiber and almost no calories. Or those are those fake noodles. Those when you add the water. Well, not fake,
exactly.
When you add the water.
So we never tried it, but
I've heard they're
I also heard that it's good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I would rather maybe make some more zucchini noodles or something like that.
Yeah.
But they can be good, especially if you add a nice sauce to it. Yeah. Okay, forgive and love. Nicolette advised cold turkey. Yeah, the quicker you get adapted, the quicker you will get craving control. Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
And you have such a nice community also here, and the keto community is so awesome. Just if you just share also your issue, you can contact us and you can ask others. They have been in the same situation a while back, so I'm sure many people are happy to help you out, and we're also happy to help if we can. But that's definitely the best approach. Yes, Bob is also saying, Nicolette, just go for it. Eat plenty of bacon and eggs with Kerrygold butter and sea salt.
Yeah, yes. That works. It works most of the time.
Yeah. His MSC is very low carb, but not very high fat, so I can lose weight, still go into ketosis, or is high fat a necessity in itself? Thank you very much for your help. Yeah, you can still get into ketosis. If you're just starting out, I would still keep your fats high as well, because you need to adapt and you don't want to shock your body, because you're not gonna feel too energized if you don't have enough fats available to use for energy right away when you're not adapted yet. I would still, so a ketogenic diet is a low carb, high fat diet, so I would still include enough fats, because what does it mean? If you're just doing low carb, very low carb and not too much fat, you're probably eating a ton of protein, like way over what you need, and that might get transformed into some carbs. Not a lot of it, but some might get converted into glucose. But generally, high fat is a necessity, especially when you're starting out, and then you can lower the fat amounts when you're keto adapted. You can lower the fat amount slowly and see, okay, what is my goal? How am I feeling? And I'm gonna lower my fat a little bit and see, am I seeing more progress? What are my calories? Where are my calories? The problem always is when you remove one thing, then what are you replacing it with? And if that means that, like, you're eating low carb, you think maybe, but you're actually eating a ton of veggies because you're not adding fat, so you're maybe stuffing yourself with something else. Just make sure you don't let anything else creep in then instead of it. Okay, Lohoa, thank you for giving us information. I think you're very knowledgeable on keto. What if you have a cough and have to take high sugar medication prescribed by a doctor? What do you suggest? If you have a cough and that's the only thing that can help you, maybe there's a not so high sugar medication, because I'm sure the sugar is not what's actually helping you with your cough. Ask him if he has an alternative without the sugar, and see, okay, what's actually the ingredient in the cough syrup or whatever that's supposed to help you, and maybe you can get it without. Like, usually they sweeten it a lot, so also kids can take it, and people are more willing to take those syrups. And but like, if it has some sugar and it's helping you out, and that's what you have right now, that's okay. Like, if you see, okay, how much sugar does it have, you're gonna get back to keto afterwards. It's fine. And take care of your cough first. And if that's the only thing that you have right now to help you, then if you can't find an alternative, then go for it. Decrease leg cramps, Himalayan salt and potassium. Yeah, cream of tartar relieves beautifully for me. Yeah. Definitely sodium and potassium.
In water.
Yeah. For me, magnesium was usually like the most, the one that, like, if I took some magnesium also without potassium, usually it was enough for me already. Just using, but yeah, definitely good to have around. So if you're just starting out on keto, or generally you're doing keto, it's always good to have enough salt around, to have some potassium and magnesium supplement just in case. Also, when you're traveling, you can bring that with you. Yeah. Okay. Yes, forgive and love. Fat keeps you full, so you're not snacking. Exactly. Also, protein keeps you fuller than other nutrients per calorie, especially. So many people they notice actually that so when they try to reduce their protein too much, then all of a sudden they eat more veggies and more fats instead, and then
he's just talking about me.
No, you had a period where you went through that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Everybody has to learn and adapt and improve. Yeah. And so you learn as you go and you see what works for you, and yeah, that's good. Hi Tom. Okay, Damon's here. Hello guys. I'd like to ask a ketogenic diet. If a ketogenic diet can cure stomach ulcers. I have stomach issues and seems the keto is getting worse. Overeat. The fatties are irritating my stomach. Any suggestion? So you have to do some research about that. I can't tell you the answer for that, sadly. But if you have stomach problems and you feel that keto is making it worse, then maybe you have problems digesting the fat. So look into that, go to your doctor, see what you can do, and first get that fixed. Because you need to be able to digest fat well if you want to do a ketogenic diet, since you're eating a high-fat diet and you're eating much more fat than you were used to before, probably. Okay, Tom, I feel my skin rejuvenates while in keto. Why is that so? So it can be a couple of reasons. Some of them are probably excluding some ingredients, some things that you were eating before that were irritating your skin and that were making it worse. Like maybe you were eating gluten before. That can cause some issues. Maybe you're eating more lactose. That could also cause skin issues. Oftentimes it's the things that you don't eat then that make these things better. But yeah, that's awesome. I think many people actually see that. And also keto is seen as a sort of as an anti-aging diet as well. And that's why it gets more and more popular. So right now, also in Silicon Valley, more and more people are doing it, also combined with fasting. Yeah, seems like it's a great way to keep yourself young. Which is awesome. Yeah, stomach ulcers are bacterial infection. Take antibiotics. Yeah, definitely just go to your doctor and find out exactly what the problem is and what you can do about it. And once your stomach is better, then increase the fats. And also ask your doctor just what is your plan? You're planning to eat more fat, etc. Is that a good idea? And yeah, just make sure you're good before. Elaine Kenna. What is a good fat that doesn't have high protein? So what do you mean? So a good fat that doesn't have high protein is grass-fed butter, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. There's so many. But maybe I was explaining myself the wrong way before, so there was some uncertainty, I wasn't clear. Decrease magnesium is night cramps while working out. Potassium if you have a night cramp. Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're having night cramps, take magnesium and potassium. Try that for sure. Yeah. Susan, yes, I concur. My skin also has improved. Awesome. Such a nice byproduct of ketosis. I agree. And again, thanks to you both. You're very welcome. Bless you too. Thank you. Both of your skin looks great. Thank you. I found it really funny when I see some people typing comments that my skin looks great in some videos. I wasn't even aiming for that. And to be honest, I could probably wash my face more and better, but I'm oftentimes too lazy for that. And so just usually when I get up in the morning, I just wash my face with some cold water and that's it. And when I take a shower or something, but I don't know, I could probably do more of that. And if I wanted to, I could remove like all imperfections or something. But for me, it doesn't really matter that much. Also, I have a beard, so it's great. It hides anything, and then it's fine. But thank you very much. That's very sweet. It's very nice. Awesome. I think we're gonna stop now. What do you think? Yeah. Getting late here. It's around 9 p.m. now, and we're gonna get ready for bed soon. And just read a little bit and relax. Start our evening routine and. Definitely. Yeah. And yeah. Should we do this next Wednesday again? Yeah. Yeah? So if you want, we're going to do another live stream next Wednesday. And Seke Kappa, so the Hungarian recipe, is going to be up tomorrow, probably tomorrow evening. And hopefully you like that as much as we do, because that's one of our staples that we have every week. It's really awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time that you took out of your days to join us here. And yeah, keep some questions for next week, and we're gonna try our best to answer them. Have a beautiful day or night, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. 1 second.